With her. Good day, everyone. Welcome to the library's Author of the Month series. And for the month of February, we have none other with us than Mr. Shawn Malie.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome.
Yes.
And thank you for having me, Miss Christian.
It's an honor. Mr. Malie is the author of this book. I don't know if you can see it. How to Work 6 Jobs on an Island. Yeah. An island boy's dream. And so we're anxious to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
It was a most interesting read. And so once again, we'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to actually sit with us and have this discussion.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay.
All right. So can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. You want the book version or you want the
version? You go with it.
All right. So my name is Shawn Malie. I am 100% Antiguan grade A local beef. That's what I like to call myself. I was born and raised in Falmouth Village. I have, I can't remember how many siblings right now, but there's a couple of us. All right. And to say I'm a country boy would kind of be, doing a disservice to the country because it kind of has a negative connotation. But I love where I'm from. I love Falmouth. I love being an Antiguan. I love creating, curating content and connecting with people. And it was out of this passion that I wrote this book. And just to give you some backstory, it was never a lifelong dream of mine to be a published author. In 2017, I've seen a lot of content all around the place from different things that I subscribe to. And, I told myself I could write a book. Can't be that hard. And so I did. And here we are today.
I'm wondering if all of us could do something like that. Because one of the questions I had for you was like, okay, how did you decide you're going to write a book?
Yeah, in, again, 2017, I subscribed to, I read a lot, right? My love of reading started, I'd say, about age 12, 13. One of the first, well, other than, the Bible when you're in Sunday school, Sabbath school coming up.
Right.
Once you start coming of age and you start reading, I started reading John Bishop. And my aunt gave me one of his books, which was A Painted House. And I think that summer I just read everything I could have gotten my hands on. All right. And so fast forward a couple of years, and every email chain that I sign up for, they keep sending you these little ebooks, like 10 tips to become a millionaire, do this if you're in this field. And I'm like, okay, this is a lot of content, How hard is it really to come up with something to publish? And my younger brother, Shaquille, said to me one day, yeah, sure, you have about 6 jobs. You're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. And I'm like, he's right here. I do have 6 jobs. And I was like, I wonder if I could turn that into a book. And it was during the summer of 2017. And I remember now, I caught red eye from my nephew Shaitan. And as we were doing summer camp for where I worked at the time, I couldn't go anywhere. So I was stuck in the house with red eye. I guess kind of similar to now, but not as bad as COVID, if you don't want to draw parallels. And so I was stuck in the house for a couple of days, and I just started. And I don't remember how much I got done in the first sitting, but I remember having a vision as to where I wanted to go with it.
That's good. But as you were writing the book, how much of a concept you had in mind?
I had the concept in terms of the jobs that I was doing.
Okay.
In terms of the full working title, I just knew it had to have 6 jobs in it. And in terms of, well, they're all connected in the sense that that was my life at that point in time. All right.
Yes.
And if you read the book, you will kind of get a sense of how everything links to the other things.
Yes.
Some things I've been doing longer than others, but they're all connected in a weird interconnectivity.
Yes.
So the concept for me was to just bring it to life as simple as possible. And I say that in the sense that sometimes you might take up a book and you start reading it, and halfway through you're like, I need to start over because
True.
I was with him up until
True.
third chapter, but now that I'm six chapters in, I need to go back and make sure. I think I'm missing something. I didn't want persons to get the sense that they were missing anything from the storyline. So I
Yes.
tried to keep it as simple, as straightforward, and as true to form as possible.
I can tell everybody that it's a very interesting read. From the title, I'm like, how on earth? But then as you explain it in the book, you're like, because they're all connected somehow. So you know, I understood better as I went through the book.
Right.
I even go ahead,
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was even there saying maybe you need to add motivational speaker to your list.
I think that is coming, and not a shameless plug, but I like to share real life scenarios.
Yes.
From the Trek Tours job mentioned in the book, I was on ABS this morning because that kind of parachuted me into being on the alumni board for that program that I was part of in 2018. And my mom is a huge fan of ABS, watches every morning. She loves Ibis, she loves Ursula, she
Yes.
loves Raynell and Andrina, and everyone, right? So she's watching, and my younger brother, Shaquem, the same one who said I had six jobs, is watching with her. And from what she tells me, he was telling people that, yeah, there goes my brother, he just loves to talk, you know? And I said to her, well, the good thing is I get paid to talk. Even in my current role, I get paid to have conversations with people. So the motivational speaking from you, Miss Christian, from you to God's ears to my pockets. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Okay. As we go through this book, like I said, it shows how it all comes together. Your job as probation officer.
Yes.
How do you, because I'm going to let everybody know, probation officer, pyrotechnician, tour guide and hike company owner, assistant manager, adjunct lecturer, and we can add author.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So, yes, what is
Go
it?
ahead. No, I'm just saying, just share with us how, you got from one to the other, to the other, to the other.
Hello?
One of the things, though, that your book rightly pointed out was that.
Have lost Christian.
Can you hear me?
For those
Are we
of you
back?
on Facebook, if you can hear me, let me know. I'm not sure what's taking place right now.
Can you hear me, Mr.
Yes,
Mill?
you are back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
One of the marvels of island life.
Yes.
Oh, internet.
You're asking me a question.
Yes. One of the things that you brought out in your book that stuck with me was the thought you said while you were in secondary school, there was no career counselor. But then by secondary school, we're pretty much told that we should at least know what we want to do as we, complete school. But then you said what? you really didn't have a thought in mind as to exactly what you wanted to do?
Yes. Yeah. So I went to the Antigua Grammar School, and it was a good 5 years. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. But you know, some persons, I was in class with a couple of guys who from Form One, they know pilot, doctor, lawyer, you know, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I don't really have those aspirations. I know I get a job, you know, I know I'm intelligent enough to, you know, get a couple of CXCs and start working. And somewhere along the line, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the book, but I remember a gentleman came to our school. I remember it vividly one Monday morning for assembly. And he was driving what I believe to be either a red or green Mazda Miata. Nice little car, convertible. Um, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And he came to give a talk to the school. And all I remember, I don't remember the gentleman's name. I have a slight recollection of what he looks like. But all I remember is that he was in HR. And I was like, okay, I could be in HR simply because I wanted a convertible for no other reason. For no other reason. And so even then, you know, I just knew something in the business lines along HR. That was my calling. And when I left grammar school, I went to Antigua State College. I did 2 years in the business studies program. And then, as you would hear in the book, I took an unlikely job, although I did, you know, intern at an insurance company. I took a job as a tour guide. And at the time, it was very close to home, so very convenient in national parks. I could leave home at 7:55 and be at work by 8 o'clock. All right. And I took that job because I was scared of the job in the sense that just coming out of my shell as a teenager into adulthood and public speaking was not, though it's something I did, you know, in church settings, I'd never spoken to large groups of people. So I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be terrifying, but it's also going to be rewarding in that you get to overcome this fear. And I did that for 2 years, and it was amazing. You know, no 2 days were the same. I didn't have an office per se. You know, we just had an area where we hung out, and then you went, you did your tours, and we went home. You know, I met a lot of cool people, some that I'm still in touch with today, almost 10 years later. And I went from there to university because I knew that, you know, I wanted higher education to get where I wanted to go. So I went to Trinidad 4 years, did a bachelor's in psychology, and then I came back to Antigua. I didn't know we had a probation office. I had never heard of it in my life. And because I did psychology, I kind of wanted to, you know, put my degree to good use.
Right.
So it was through Facebook that someone literally told me about the job while I was in Trinidad. I remember who it is, and I didn't know the lady, but she just, you know, we struck up a conversation. I told her what I was doing. She's like, oh, yeah, when you come back home, you should apply to this place. And I was like, okay, I'll apply. And so I did. I remember the day, you know, I got dressed semi-casually, khakis and orange linen T-shirt, and
Oh,
I
wow.
went with my I was town chic, if you want to call it that. You know, I went and dropped off my package. I figured, you know, I'll just walk into the building, say I'm dropping this off as an application. So I did, and then the receptionist was like, "Hold on, let me send you upstairs to the PS office." As you know,
Ouch.
in the government service, the PS is kind of like the gatekeeper for the ministry.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, sure. I couldn't say no because I'm standing there, and you know, I go upstairs. You know, go into the PS, and she's like, all right, how are you doing? You know, exchange pleasantries. Opens the envelope, pulls out my resume and cover letter. You know, stats. Scanning through it. She's like, oh, okay. You have a bachelor in psychology. Oh, you went to that school in Trinidad. Oh, that's a good school. We have a couple of people. All right. So when do you want to do the interview? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, hold on, let me call, and she was calling the other person who is in charge. Picks up the phone, calls, you know, they have a conversation, tells her what's happening. And she's like, can you see him Thursday, and then she's like, can you do Thursday? And I'm like, yeah, I can do Thursday. I don't have any other plans. I was working part time at Scotiabank at the time, but it wasn't a full
Okay.
time position. And so I went. I did the interview. Didn't hear anything for a while. This was like maybe early in the summer,
Right.
and then by November, I got a call to say that interview went well. I did interview with the Public Service Commission as well, and then I heard nothing for a while, and then by November, through a mutual family friend, I got a call say, there's a letter here that you should start working in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, really? But nobody called me, and they're like, well, you got the job, the paperwork is here, so it's up to you. And I just asked for a later start because it was almost around end of November into December. And, that's not really a good time to start a job. So I asked to start in January. And so I did. And that's the story of, in a nutshell, how I became
Woo!
probation officer.
Okay. Your book also speaks about you being a pyrotechnician.
Yes, that one might probably throw some people for a loop. But all that it is, it's fireworks. It's just,
Yes.
it's two different things, but it's kind of, you can, once you mention that term, most people would know what you're talking about. And if you ask anyone in my family the story, they will tell you that that's what our family is known for.
Okay.
Right? On the night that I was born, December 31st, 1985, my dad was not there because he was doing fireworks. Right? So he got the message after the fact. Or the day that I was born, I should say. He was doing that, and I think he saw me sometime in the new year. And it's something that was one of my first memories, him knowing that that's something that he's involved in. And at around age 12, 13, my older brother and I were now old enough that we can, hold our own and be responsible. And so he started taking us on jobs with him. And, he was in partnership with another business owner. And then I think in 2010, 11, branched out on his own. So we have a family business that does fireworks, to the point where while I was away doing my HR certification in 2015, I did a course and did a test and became a licensed pyrotechnician.
Awesome.
So I always say, some people would say for someone whose birthday is on the last day of the year that you're almost born on New Year's Day. And I tell them, not a chance. I was not almost born on New Year's Day. I was born December 31st. I always have fireworks for my birthday.
Oh my goodness.
In the world I go to celebrate, I can guarantee myself that I will have fireworks for my birthday.
All right. You also shared that you were functioning as HR assistant manager in a cafe.
Yes. That really came and went. And it was with great sadness that it came and went. And that is because I have an aunt named Karen who, born in Antigua, then migrated for university, has lived all her life in the US. But, like most Antiguans, she maintains her ties to her place of birth. Right? So she comes home very often, very in touch with the family, very hands-on. And through where she was working in 2015, they were doing some reorganizing. And though her name was not up to be, let go from the company, in a good way, she asked to be put on the list because it was something that she wanted to do. She always wanted to come back home and open up a cafe.
Right.
And so she did, and at that same time, I was just coming back from Toronto doing my HR certification as well. And again, another family business. So I got roped in because, it's one of my favorite hunts, and I'm there to help. So I kind of did a little bit of everything except cook. I'm not a cook, not a chef. I can feed myself, but I will not make food to feed other persons, especially for them to pay me for it. That's not my forte. All right. So she had the cafe, and she just needed help in terms of washing dishes, running errands, making sure the statutory deductions are paid, just any and everything except cooking. I helped with. And because I had just done my HR certification, everyone kind of called me
Wow.
HR. So it was a case of if you had any questions, like, yeah, go talk to HR in a joking way, just because I was, not there for the entire day, but because I was there, I was able to help out as much as possible.
I'm here wondering how many individuals in Antigua are certified as pyrotechnicians.
I am, and my dad is. I don't know of anyone else. I think some persons have the exposure in terms of having done it before, but in terms of going through and being certified and having a license, I honestly don't know. Right? I would say this for the group of guys that we work with, consider all of them to be family. And it's a case where even though they don't have valid or an actual certification, the number of years that they have been doing it, would give them the opportunity to say that, I am a professional in this field. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for a while, and the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Okay. Um, I'm trying to go through what I read in your book.
Yeah, we
There's
let them purchase the book so that they can figure out how the
yes.
rest.
Okay. But where does adjunct lecturer come in?
Right. So to how everything kind of ties in, it was after doing my HR certification, while at the cafe, again, another a friend of the family said, he's teaching this class at State College, Organizational Behavior, and he needs to give it up because of things that are happening in his life and his professional work. He's not able to devote the time to that. And
Right.
I was like, I'll do it. I was recently minted with my HR certification, so I was, eager to get my beak wet, as they say, to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll do it. And he recommended me to the head of department, and the rest, as they say, is history. And through everything that I had done prior, kind of put me in a good place to do this, because it's a case where I no longer had the fear of standing in front of crowds, right? Because I've been a tour guide, right? And I just did my HR certification, so I knew matter of factly what I was talking about every time I went to class, and I'm having a conversation with my students, and even to give them real life examples for things that happened to me as an individual that I've seen personally, or that I have been on just the outer realm of the experience that I can say this has happened to someone that I know in a personal setting. And yeah, it's not easy standing on your feet and talking for an hour and a half, 2 hours, especially to younger people. Their attention spans at times varies, and so it's up to me as the guide. I don't call myself a professor or a teacher. It's up to me as the guide to keep the class entertaining, to build in exciting elements, because anyone will tell you HR is boring, right? It's boring in the sense that the material is not exciting to read, but it's exciting in the sense of you are managing people, and no two people are the same on any
Right.
week of the week. So how an employee comes to work today, Wednesday, is not how they're going to show up tomorrow, whether in frame of mind or just countenance or anything. So I guess the longer I stay in this HR field, is the more stories I will collect, and possibly that might be another book somewhere down
Yes. So we need to look out for another book.
Possibly. I don't tie my hands as to when and on what topic, but for right now, I do create a lot of content around HR, and that's because I'm building my capacity as I go along. So not only do I work now as a labor relations officer, I'm also part of the Human Resource Professionals Antigua and Barbuda. I do some writing for them. And I'm also part of the Carib HR Forum, which is a regional HR body. So I'm able to flex my writing muscles in other ways. And if anyone looks me up on LinkedIn, as recent as 46 minutes ago, I put out a piece of content that I created with someone from Barbados that I've never met, never spoke to on the phone. We were doing some training together over the weekend, and I pitched the idea like, hey, we should do this. And I sent my list, she sent her list, and we collaborated on the back end. And it took us Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It took us 4 days to come up with a piece of content, and it's now out there for public consumption.
Wow.
I say that easily, and I guess for me, ideas kind of come easily at times, not all the time. And it's a process to get something from idea stage to production stage, right? And how, for me, I like, I guess, free writing. I don't like writing where I have to go and do a lot of research. I come up with an idea and I just put it out, right? I might go and pull, bits and pieces of information here because to me, I just want to get on to the next idea. I don't want to spend too much time bogged down with this idea trying to make it perfect. I thought about it, I got it out, and I just published it, and it's gone now. So I can say I did that and be comfortable with it, thinking about what am I going to do next. So when the next thing comes, like the mental pipeline is kind of clear. Like I don't have anything else I'm still working on, so just move right on to the next thing.
So what would you like individuals to glean from this book that you wrote?
The main takeaway for me is that we live on the best place on planet Earth. And I say that because the things that I have seen in Antigua and Barbuda, I have not seen anywhere else. And I doubt I will see anywhere else. All right? And there is so much that we can do as a community of people once we are open to experiences, once we're open to learning, once we're open to sharing, once we're open to caring. Right? And I say that in the sense that there is strength in collectivity and unity. We don't have to like each other, but if we're working on a project together, and you're upfront with me and upfront with you, and we have a goal that we are working towards, right? So for me, it's all about creating those opportunities where people can work and collaborate together. It was never about me having 6 jobs and living on an island. That was not my dream. My dream is I just want to be here, present in Antigua. I want to do the best I can for my society and my community. And if that means doing a bunch of different things at a bunch of different times with a bunch of different people, some for monetary reward, some just because it needs to get done, then by all means, I'm here for it. I'm here for that experience because at the end of the day, I now have, and I don't want to make it seem like a big thing, but I now have a legacy in that whenever I pass on, this is still going to be around somewhere. Whether it's on the public library or online or in somebody's Kindle or in somebody's bookshelf. That piece of me will carry on. And one of the things that I'm conscious of is that, for writers and content creators, your energy kind of flows through your fingertips into what you type, right? So when people read your stuff, they're reading and feeling that energy that you put out.
Right, right, right,
You
right,
know?
right.
So for me, I try to always be in a happy or good frame of mind, when I'm writing and producing content because it flows easier.
Ah,
Sometimes people might miss the point entirely,
so
but
no
that's
music.
in terms of making music. No, I'm not musically inclined. Um, I can play the beginning of Chariots of Fire on the piano, and that I learned at probably like age 7 or 8.
Are you referring to those chords? That,
Yes.
that, that, that.
Yeah, I could say that, and that's it. I can't do anything else. I mean, like everyone else, I was gifted in the recorder. And I say gifted in the recorder in first and second form, in that I could play enough to pass music. But other than that, yeah, music is not my. I love to listen and consume, but produce, no, that's definitely not
I've neglected to say hello to a few individuals.
me.
I see Kerrian is with us and Ray and Joseph,
Yeah.
and also none other than Petra Williams.
Okay.
Petro, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Petra Williams,
I have.
right?
I think I have a couple of friends watching. Ryan is from Sabre.
Ah, yes,
From
yes.
Trinidad is on as
Welcome,
well.
Sewa.
Yes. So yeah, my people are good people, and I wouldn't be where I was, book and all, without a community of people behind me. And that is from my sister Kerry, who I co-own a business with, to my dad, who runs the fireworks company, to my aunt, who ran the cafe, to a friend of my aunt who put me on to the teaching position. So you can kind of see how it all gels
Yes,
together in terms of a community. And one of the things that I would tell any young person or anybody listening is that you're only as good as the community that you have behind you,
true, true.
right? And it's not a case where you go asking for favors all the time, but where you see a void that you can help, you help, and that's it. You just leave it at that. If you can, you do. If you can't, you can't. Because at the end of the day, these are the people that you would rely on, not only in hard times, but in good times as well. And that's one of the things that I definitely want to get out there. It's not just networking for the case of networking, but building
Right.
a community of
Yes.
like-minded people that you can call and say, hey, I have an idea to do so and so. What do you think? And if anyone calls me about something and I can't help, I can't help you, but let me see if I know someone who can,
True.
right? And if they can't, I would ask them, you're not the person to talk to, but who do you think they should be talking
Right.
to? Right? Kind of, pressing it a bit further to get out there so that you're helping someone achieve something, even though the role you played in it was just as a connector. Like, hey, this is where you should go to find this information. And in our society, we kind of tend to hoard things. And it's good in some senses, but it's bad in some senses. Because if I see an opportunity come in my inbox, I'm like, I can't do anything with this, but I might know 3 or 4 people who this might help. And if it can't help them, I would ask them to think about somebody who it can help.
Yes.
And I just send it out like, hey, take a look at this. If it applies to
True.
you, it applies to you. If not, then just keep on pushing.
Okay. I need to ask you a question. When you were doing the book, is this the publisher? So is it self-published?
Yes, self-published.
Did you try to get another publisher to commit to this project, or did
I,
you
I,
straight out of the gate?
I did not, and maybe that's something we can talk about offline if you have a publisher to send my way. And the reason for that is, like I said, I didn't want to spend 2, 3 years to get this to the stage of putting
Yes.
it before a publisher and before I could get it out. Because it would just be weighing on my mind like, listen, I wrote this book a year ago and I can't get it published. So you know, and that to me would be a bit of a demotivator. So I'm like, what's the quickest way I could write this, print this, and get this into the hands of people? And I'm like, do it yourself, you know. And even the cover, I didn't design, and I gave.
You did?
I didn't, but I did not. Right? There's a young man by the name of Jude Peters who I mentioned in the book as well. And, you know, he's a colleague of mine, and I pitched to him the idea. And I said to him, you know, this is the idea I have. Can you draw me something? And he's like, all right, give me a couple of days. And he did. And then when he filled it in with color, I was like, I don't have long hair, but I like it. You know, and if you look at it, the elements on there there's the classroom for when I was teaching, and there's a kitchen for the cafe,
Mm-hmm.
fireworks, there's the courtroom for when I was a probation officer, and there's also well the one on one half of the gentleman he's wearing, you know, shirt and tie. And then on the other half, he's wearing shorts and a polo and a t-shirt. So
I
that's
missed
how,
that.
yeah,
Oh my goodness, I can't believe I missed that.
right. So he's one half dressed in business attire as
Yeah.
I am now. But if I were to be, you know, taking some folks on a hike, I wouldn't be dressed like this. I'd be wearing shorts and a t-shirt. You know. And I guess the bag in his hand is my bag of tricks in terms of, you know, being able to maneuver around all these positions.
I like the statement that you made where it says mobility and fluidity comes with island life. I 100% agree with that.
Yes, yes,
I found that that was so great. I also like the fact that you actually have a reading list at the back of that book,
yes, yes.
which is awesome.
Which has gotten considerably longer. Well, not considerably, but it's gotten longer since publishing the book, because the one of the things I realized is that even on any of these major platforms, MSN, whatnot, every year they put out a list of what famous people are reading. Oprah has a list, Bill Gates
Yes.
has a list, sure past President Obama has a list of things he's reading. So I figured, you know what, let me give people a sense of what I'm reading. Not like I'm a celebrity, but
Yes. Yes.
if you picked up my book and it inspired you, and you wanted to read something else, uh, you know, there's a list at the back. You know, these are some of the things that I've read that I felt, you know, really touched or shaped the way, you know, I think and do things. So I just wanted to put that out there, you know, so other persons can enjoy it as well.
I found it rather refreshing.
Good stuff. I'm happy to hear.
Yes. Um. Okay. Individuals that would like to get copies of your book, how can they do so?
All right, so it is available at Best of Books, and it is also available on Amazon as well. So it's available in hard copy here in Antigua. And if you're not in Antigua and you still want to purchase it, just go to Amazon, type in my name. I think there's maybe only one or two Shawn Males on there. And how to work 6 jobs on an island.
And it's very affordable. It's very affordable online.
Again, I am not trying to become a millionaire as yet from this book. Hopefully, you know, by the next 2 or 3 books, I can cash in and, you know, sail off into the sunset. But this one was just a project that I just wanted to get out there, and you know, so that's it.
Okay.
So,
One quick question before I
yeah,
let you go. Fulbright,
Fulbright.
talk
Okay.
to me because you seem to
Mhm. So
um
I haven't been a part of the Fulbright project, but another State Department funded project, which was the Young Leaders of the Americas initiative.
yes.
I took part in that in 2018, representing
Okay.
Trek Tours, and it is actually a good thing that you asked, because this evening there is a session that is an information session to get persons more information on applying for that fellowship.
Yes.
If you look up the Business Circle Antigua, Elijah James, he runs that platform. I will be on there this evening talking more about that fellowship. It's a 6-week program for entrepreneurs who want to grow their businesses, who want to get more ideas, have more of a reach. And when I went in 2018, I spent 4 weeks in Little Rock, Arkansas, working with someone who has a similar type of company to the company I run here in Antigua and Barbuda. And it's just an amazing experience. It opens up your mind to a whole new way of doing business. It also gives you a network within the Caribbean, Latin America, and the US as well, of persons that you can tap into for ideas and resources. And it also opens the door for funding as well. There is an age limit. You have to be between age 25 to 35 to apply and be a non-resident, a non-citizen or green card holder of the US. So it's really for persons, who are rooted in the Caribbean. And whether you own a business or you're part of a social organization like JC's or Rotaract, if you play a part in any of those type of organizations, you are eligible to apply as well. Application closes next a week from tomorrow.
That's the 23rd?
Yeah, application closes on the 25th. So,
25th. Okay.
Yeah, so persons have about a week to get the application together. I've known a couple of persons from Antigua who applied for this cohort and cohorts before, and it just really is an amazing experience for young entrepreneurs.
That's great. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's all support Mr. Malie.
Yes.
And purchase his book. He said they could be had at Best of Books.
Yes, they are Best of Books, and they are also available on Amazon.
And for those who want just an ebook, you could go to Amazon and purchase a copy. Price is rather economical. I need to put one on my device, so I can have it there.
And for those who want to enjoy, a quiet afternoon read, you can visit the public library. They have copies.
Yes.
You can go on your lunchtime and have a read.
I would like to publicly thank you for those donations also.
You are welcome.
We got more than we anticipated.
That is fine.
It was rather delightful.
Good stuff.
Yes. So yes, we also have them at the library, as you can see. So come on out, have a read. Let's support all of our local authors. Mr. Malie, we want to thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you.
It was really great. I'm not holding your hand to the fire, but I'm actually looking for something else.
Okay, you and almost everyone else in my close family and friend circle. Give it some time. Give it some time.
Okay. Also, the director of the library insisted that I say hello to you. I think she said you are a past student.
Yes, Mrs. Mannix was my library skills teacher in first form and my homeroom teacher in first form. So you see how life comes full circle again. Do tell her I said hello, and
I will.
Thank you for being an amazing teacher in my early years and for encouraging us. I don't know if you're working all the time, but one of the things I remember Mrs. Mannix saying is learn how to do the citation and bibliography now, because when you go to state college, you're going to come back here and ask me how to do it, and I'm not going to tell you, right? And I remember when I got to university, I was like, boy, Mrs. Mannix was right. And that was, about 10 years after, and she was so right. If you learn how to do it from the onset, you will never forget.
That is so true and still so applicable.
Indeed.
Okay. So once again, we'd like to thank you for being with us and, sharing so much of your experiences and, from your book with us. We wish you much continued success in all of your endeavors. I hope we hear a lot more from you as time goes on.
You definitely will. And you know where to find me, Miss Christian. All right, anything you need, just
Yes,
reach out.
that's greatly appreciated. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Shawn Malie. How to work 6 jobs in an island boy dream. It is great, and I highly recommend that you purchase a copy and have a good read. Even do it as a purchase it as a gift for someone else. It'd be
Yes.
nice for somebody trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to do,
Mhm.
or just a relax and read. I think we need to go after giving gifts, books as gifts.
Yes.
All right,
Definitely.
so here's one that you could purchase. And Mr. Mail is the library's author of the month for the month of February, and so we'll be highlighting his works throughout February
Mhm.
so that individuals will know that, hey, we have an author by the name of Mr. Shawn Mail. That's the goal of our Author of the Month series at the library.
Much appreciated.
Yes. For the month of March, though, before I go, I must say that
Mhm.
we will have Miss Takessa Simon for the month of March. And I have 2 of her books, Be Still and Know, The Lemon Tree, and there's another one for Grace. I hope that's the correct title. Okay. So I'll ask you to join us for the month of March. Mr. Mail, you can tune in if you have the time.
Yeah. Is it Miss? I believe her title before married was West.
West, yes.
Yes. So she
Yes.
taught me in State College when she was.
Yes.
So again, full circle.
Oh my gosh. This is island life.
It is.
Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody if we don't all know the person.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, and we all love island life. So
Indeed.
once again we'd like to thank you, and we just pray that you continue to have good vibes all through.
Thank
God's
you.
blessings with you, and
Thank
that we
you.
all continue to be safe.
Yes.
Yes. And
Right.
we'd also like to thank everybody who shared with us and tuned in for this discussion. We really appreciate it. And as time go on, when people get their time, they'll tune in and you'll see individuals and their various comments as you follow the link.
Okay. I will definitely.
Okay? Yes. So thank you, everybody, and you, Mr. Mail, and do have a good afternoon.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Bless.
Bye.